Thank you for being here tonight. Welcome to Once Upon Midnight, where classic tales are reborn under the moonlight. Here we uncover the shadows behind the stories you thought you knew, revealing the secrets, the truths, and the mysteries hidden between every line of your favorite fairy tales. Before we begin our tale tonight, take just a moment to let your body settle. Find a position that feels soft and safe. Let your shoulders loosen. Let your jaw unclench. And allow a slow breath to rise and fall gently in your chest. Thank you for giving yourself this time. And thank you for sharing these quiet moments with me. You've made space for rest, and your mind now has permission to drift as your breath becomes steady. Imagine the day gently fading behind you, its noise growing softer, its weight lifting little by little. In its place, a calm evening air begins to surround you. Warm, still, comforting. And in that peaceful space, a doorway begins to appear. The doorway to tonight's story. On the other side, a forest waits, quiet and green, touched by early morning light. The leaves shimmer with magic, and somewhere in the distance, a young girl with a gentle heart is about to begin a journey that will change her life forever. Take a moment, breathe, feel your body relax. This is your time to slow down, and when you're ready, we'll step gently into the story of Snow White. Long ago, in a quiet kingdom nestled high among the mountain peaks, there lived a kind and gentle queen. This was a place perpetually blanketed with soft, generous snow, not the biting, sharp chill of deep winter, but a gentle, welcoming cold that encouraged quiet reflection. Every evening, as the day's work settled into silence, the queen would sit by a narrow, arched window in her solar. She would sit, not in a grand chair of state, but on a simple wooden stool, sewing quietly, the rhythmic snip-snip of her shears and the delicate hiss of the needle through fabric, the only sounds. Outside, tiny snowflakes drifted lazily from the midnight sky. They were light and numerous, like downy feathers shaken from an enormous, unseen quilt. She watched them endlessly. They did not rush or whirl. They descended with a serene, almost lazy grace. They sparkled as they touched the stone ground, catching the faint yellow light from her tallow lamp, forming a delicate white blanket that muffled the world, covering the fields in silent rolling dunes, outlining the bare branches of the trees with crystalline lace, and resting like soft curved caps on the rooftops of the sleeping village. One small, perfect flake, a six-pointed star of ice, landed lightly on her finger. It was cool and delicate, dissolving almost instantly into a single bright drop of water. She smiled softly, a genuine, profound smile that creased the corners of her eyes and whispered her deepest, most cherished thought. If only I could have a child with skin as pale and untouched as this fresh, silent snow, lips as warm and red as the berries that hang defiant on the winter branches, and hair as deep, as dark, and as quiet as the midnight sky itself. Months passed, carried on the soft currents of the winter air, and the queen's beautiful wish came true. She gave birth to a beautiful girl named Snow White. From the very moment she opened her deep brown eyes, she seemed to glow with a quiet, inherent innocence. She was a breath of summer in the deepest winter. Her tiny, involuntary laughter was soft and melodic, like the gentle ripple of a mountain stream flowing over smooth, moss-covered stones. And her smile, even as an infant, possessed a quality that could warm even the coldest winter morning. But the beautiful cycle of life is often shadowed by sorrow. Sadly, the kind queen, who loved her dearly with a deep, boundless tenderness, grew weak as the long winter finally drew to a close. As the first pale green shoots of spring began to show, she passed away, fading quietly into the gentle peace she had always sought. The king, heartbroken and lonely, found his world muted, his castle echoing with emptiness. In his grief and seeking to restore some warmth to the cold stone halls, he remarried. His new wife was a woman of striking, formidable beauty. She moved with the liquid grace of a sleek cat and dressed in velvets and silks that shimmered with deep, icy colors. Yet, beneath the dazzling exterior, her heart was as cold and brittle as the hardest frost, clinging to the window panes in the deepest winter. Her beauty was a shell, and within it resided a quiet, consuming vanity. She owned a peculiar and powerful object, a magical mirror, framed in ancient heavy silver leaves that twisted and curled like frozen vines. It was polished to an unnerving brilliance. Each morning, without fail, she would stand before it, her posture straight and regal, and ask softly, her voice barely a breath,
"Mirror, mirror on the wall, who is the fairest of them all?"
And the mirror, with a voice that was calm, deep and utterly devoid of emotion, always answered precisely,
"You, my queen, are the fairest."
The queen would walk away, her pride momentarily satisfied, leaving the mirror to stare silently into the cold, empty room. But one morning, when Snow White had grown into a gentle 16-year-old woman, the mirror's calm voice said something fundamentally different, shattering the queen's quiet routine.
"Queen, you are fair, it is true, but Snow White has surpassed you. Snow White is the fairest of them all."
The queen's heart, which had been so proud and content in its chilling vanity, filled instantly with a quiet storm of jealousy. It wasn't a loud, raging passion, but a silent, pervasive rot. She could not bear Snow White's presence, her gentle kindness, her inherent innocence, and the profound, living beauty that shone not from her face, but from the depths of her soul. Snow White's very existence was a reproach to the queen's shallow, mirror-fed beauty. The queen spent days consumed by this quiet, burning malice. Finally, one cold morning, she summoned a trusted huntsman, a man whose hands were rough from long service, and whose face held the weariness of 1,000 silent commands. She instructed him with a voice that brooked no argument. Take Snow White deep, deep into the most remote part of the forest. Leave her there, and ensure she would never, ever return. The unspoken command hung heavy in the air. The huntsman led Snow White away from the castle's sterile beauty and into the outskirts of the great woods. As they walked, Snow White spoke to him gently, noticing the tired slump of his shoulders, the strain around his eyes. She spoke of the young saplings she tended, and the way the spring runoff sounded when it hit the rocks. The huntsman, a man hardened by life but not yet broken, was deeply touched by Snow White's unaffected grace and profound innocence. He looked at her gentle face, and then thought of the Queen's icy gaze. He knew he could not, would not, commit the cold violence asked of him. He stopped deep within a shadowed thicket, his heart heavy. He turned, his voice husky and barely audible above the light wind.
"Run, dear child,"
he whispered softly, his eyes urging her on.
"Run into the forest. Do not look back. Your life depends on it."
Snow White, trembling with fear and confusion, yet grounded by an innate bravery, nodded once, a silent promise. She turned and stepped softly into the unfamiliar depths of the forest. The woods immediately closed around her, wrapping her in a world of shade and scent. Tall trees rose like ancient, silent guardians, their branches brushing against one another in a soft, low murmuring wind that sounded like a deep, collective sigh. Birds called gently from the distant treetops, their notes clear and melodic, a constant, comforting presence. A small, hidden stream gurgled nearby, its voice a soft, continuous melody. Snow White walked slowly, intentionally. She consciously pushed down the panic, focusing instead on the world around her. She felt the soft, cool moss beneath her feet, absorbing the dampness and the earth's quiet resilience. She noticed the way the sunlight, fractured by the dense canopy, danced on the forest floor, shifting from pale gold to emerald green. She wandered for hours, her fear giving way to a state of calm observation. She began to notice the tiniest details, the delicate, intricate patterns of frost clinging stubbornly to the shady side of a broken branch, refusing to melt. She saw the first hints of tenacious green on a leaf, sprouting from a fallen log, promising rebirth. She paused to listen to the gentle, hurried rustle of a squirrel searching with determined focus for hidden food, and the quiet, distant song of a bird she could not see. The air was crisp and cool, but no longer frighteningly cold. It carried the faint, honest scent of pine needles, rich, black earth, and wet, decaying leaves, the smell of the living cycle. As the afternoon light began to mellow, slowly deepening from white to a sleepy gold, and evening approached, she noticed a faint, regular glow filtering through the thick cluster of trees ahead. It wasn't a scary light, but a warm, steady, welcoming presence. Stepping through a curtain of hanging ivy, she saw it. A small, sturdy cottage, warm and inviting, standing nestled perfectly among tall, protective oaks. Smoke drifted lazily from the short stone chimney, curling upward into the stilling sky like a peaceful offering. Snow White approached, her heart beating softly now, not with fear but with weary hope. She hoped intensely to find shelter, just a safe, dry corner for the night. The cottage seemed to be waiting for her. She opened the simple latch and stepped inside. The cottage was immediately quiet and wonderfully cozy. It was spotlessly clean, yet everything was miniature and worn smooth by years of loving use. 7 tiny, stout chairs sat neatly around a low, round wooden table, their surfaces gleaming faintly. 7 small beds, each covered with a neat, patched quilt, lined the walls, separated by small, equally tiny wooden chests. Everything spoke of a simple, organized, communal life. Snow White, utterly exhausted from the long journey, the fear and the sheer effort of running, decided that the best way to earn her stay was to give of herself. She tidied the cottage with quiet, meticulous care. She swept the wide plank floor slowly and thoroughly, gathering every speck of dust. She polished the small square windows until they gleamed, letting in maximum light. She arranged the 7 small chairs so they were all perfectly straight and equidistant from the table, a task that gave her a strange sense of quiet satisfaction. She smoothed the bed covers, folded the discarded shirts lying on the small chests, and stacked the wooden plates. When all was done, and the cottage seemed to exhale a quiet sigh of order, she lay down across the smallest bed, sinking instantly into the deepest, most peaceful sleep she had known since she left her father's castle. She dreamed of soft snow and red berries. Later that evening, as the stars began to pinprick the midnight sky, the cottage's true owners returned. 7 kind dwarfs entered, their faces strong and weathered from a long day's honest labor. They wore simple, durable clothes and carried lanterns that cast dancing, cheerful shadows. They stopped at the threshold, their movements frozen. Their faces, usually set in expressions of focused work, were now filled with curiosity, surprise, and a gentle concern. They whispered softly to one another, their voices deep and rumbling like distant thunder.
The floors are clean, and the windows. I can see the stars.
One whispered.
Look, someone stacked the kindling perfectly. And who is this gentle girl?
A third asked, his voice full of wonder.
Who has come to our quiet home?
They approached the beds and looked upon Snow White. She was curled up, her breathing deep and even, her pale skin contrasting beautifully with the rough, dark fabric of the quilt. They watched her sleep for a long, silent moment, feeling the undeniable goodness that radiated from her stillness. When Snow White finally awoke and told them her incredible story, the Queen, the mirror, the huntsman's mercy, the dwarfs welcomed her without a moment's hesitation.
Stay with us, dear child. You are safe here. You will never be alone in these woods again.
Snow White smiled softly. She felt an overwhelming sense of calm washing over her, a feeling like sunlight pouring through a morning window after a long, dark storm. This simple cottage, built on labor and kindness, became her sanctuary. She began to settle immediately into the quiet, predictable rhythm of life in the cottage, finding profound meaning in the simple, repetitive chores. Days passed slowly, gently weaving into weeks. Snow White woke early each morning to the soft clink of the rising sun hitting the polished windows. She would sweep the floors with steady, rhythmic strokes, the broom whispering against the wood. She polished the windows until they gleamed like clear ice, bringing the whole forest closer. She tidied the 7 little chairs, each adjustment a small act of love and organization. She sang softly as she kneaded the dough and baked the bread, simple, wordless melodies that blended with the crackle of the fire. The warm, yeasty aroma of the baking bread filled the cottage, wrapping around everyone inside like a gentle, comforting hug. She hummed while mending the dwarves' durable work clothes, folding each garment carefully into a perfect square, appreciating the honesty of the worn fabric. She talked to the small animals that visited the door, the shy, silent squirrels who came to steal crumbs, the soft-eyed rabbits that twitched their noses at the spice scent, the bright-eyed birds that sang their thanks from the eaves, and even a curious, cautious fox that sometimes peeked from the trees, its eyes wide with wonder. The dwarves, 7 souls dedicated to their quiet, important work, worked quietly alongside her. They chopped wood, the thwack of the axe a clean, predictable sound. They tended their small, hidden gardens, preparing the soil with patience. In the evenings, they would gather by the fire, singing soft, low songs of the earth and the seasons. Together, they shared gentle, heartwarming moments. They would sip strong, hot tea from chipped mugs by the fireplace, letting the steam warm their faces. They would sit in profound silence, quietly watching the snow fall, finding comfort in the shared stillness. Or they would laugh softly, a deep, collective sound, at a small, shared joke or a funny anecdote from the forest. These moments were small anchors of peace in the world. Each evening before retiring to her small, beloved bed, Snow White would sit by the window. She would look up at the distant moon, a soft silver disk, at the millions of scattered stars, and at the softly, continuously falling snow. She whispered a quiet prayer of gratitude for the calm, peaceful life she had found, for the security of the small walls, and for the gentle hearts of the 7 men who protected her. Far away in the cold, echoing castle, the queen continued her lonely, chilling routine. She consulted her magical mirror once more, her voice still soft, still full of demand.
Mirror, mirror on the wall, who is the fairest of them all?
The mirror, bound by truth, offered the same devastating reply.
Queen, you are a sight to behold, but in the heart of the woods where life still thrives, Snow White, who lives with the 7 dwarfs, is the fairest.
The queen's heart, already icy and brittle, grew colder still. It was a perfect crystalline hardness now. She could not rest while Snow White's goodness existed in the world. She began to plan quietly, meticulously, her slow, careful steps, leading her inexorably toward the forest. She used her cunning to disguise herself. She smeared her beautiful face with a mixture of ash and crushed dark leaves, giving her the appearance of an extremely old woman, stooped, weak, and harmless. She wrapped herself in drab, thick cloth, and over her arm she carried a basket laden with the most beautiful, shiny, deceptively red apples imaginable. Each one was polished to a dazzling, irresistible sheen. She traveled through the quiet, deep forest, moving slowly, paying heed to the small, telling details that defined the space. The delicate, persistent frost on the sheltered leaves, the soft, clean footprints of deer pressed into the snow, the distant, haunting song of an owl beginning its nocturnal hunt. As the sun slowly dipped below the horizon, she moved with purpose, fueled by a singular, cold intent. When she arrived at the dwarves' clearing, she saw Snow White alone, sitting on the small front step, mending a tiny sock, sunlight resting on her dark hair. Her quiet innocence was a physical barrier that the queen's malice had to breach. Her heart, though icy, forced her to approach carefully, her voice cracked and weak. She offered Snow White the brightest, most crimson apple in her basket, holding it out with a shaking hand. She spoke softly, masking her poison with false kindness.
Taste it, dear girl. It is the fruit of the sun and the earth. One bite, and you will feel a joy you have never known.
Snow White, conditioned by her own gentle nature and utterly unaware of the danger lurking beneath the simple disguise, took the apple gently. her fingers brushing the queen's cold, dry hand. She thanked the old woman softly and raised the fruit to her lips. The moment she bit into the flesh, she did not gasp or cry out. She simply fell. She fell instantly into a deep, enchanted sleep. Peaceful, still, and silent, she lay down on the doorstep, her dark hair fanned out, her breath stopping. She lay as if wrapped in a soft, eternal winter blanket. The 7 dwarfs returned shortly after. The atmosphere was wrong, the cottage too quiet. They found her there, motionless, the red apple lying partially consumed beside her still hand. Their hearts, so full of simple, honest warmth, ached with a deep, quiet sorrow. They lifted her gently, carefully. They tried everything to awaken her. Warm teas, gentle whispers, even the strongest scents from their work. But nothing stirred her. She remained serene, her lips red, her skin pale, a perfect statue of peace. Unable to awaken her and unable to bury such luminous, gentle beauty in the cold earth, they worked for days to create a sacred resting place. They placed Snow White in a coffin of clear, polished glass, framed with wrought iron and trimmed with the dark, durable ironwood they sometimes used for special projects. They placed her on a bed of fresh pine needles and soft cloth so that her gentle beauty and calm spirit would never fade from view. They carried the glass coffin to a small protected clearing on a high hill overlooking their cottage, positioning it carefully beneath a massive ancient oak tree. Time passed slowly, deliberately, marked only by the change of the natural world. Seasons changed gently around the cottage, forming a slow, cyclical vigil. Spring brought soft green leaves and the delicate, ephemeral white of cherry blossoms, carpeting the glass coffin in petals of hope. Summer filled the forest with golden, deep sunlight and the quiet, continuous buzz of bees working diligently in the wildflowers. Autumn painted the trees in warm, sleepy shades of orange and russet, scattering a silent mosaic of color over the glass. Winter returned again and again, with snow that sparkled like millions of cut diamonds in the moonlight, banking softly against the glass walls. Through all the seasons, Snow White remained serene. Her breath was soft and imperceptible, her presence calm and gentle, like a living dream frozen in time. The dwarfs often came to sit near the coffin. They would hum softly, their working songs becoming lullabies, or tell quiet, repetitive stories of their days, keeping watch over their gentle, silent friend. Their quiet loyalty became a part of the forest itself. One day, after years had passed and the forest had fully reclaimed its peace, a young prince wandered through the quiet, deep forest. He was not a prince of conquest, but a gentle soul, a traveler and a student of ancient wonders, who was searching for a sense of quiet meaning in the world. He noticed a soft white glow among the trees, something unnatural yet beautiful. He followed the light and found Snow White resting peacefully in her glass coffin, surrounded by the devoted dwarfs. Tenderness, not fascination, filled his heart as he gazed upon her. He felt an immediate, profound connection to the silent, pure kindness emanating from her serene face. She seemed to possess the peace he had been searching for all his life. He spoke to the dwarfs, who told him the full, sorrowful story of the jealous queen and the poisoned apple. The prince knew instantly that he could not leave her there, Slowly, with great reverence, he lifted the heavy glass coffin with the dwarf's respectful help. As they moved the coffin, the slight jostling, the very smallest disturbance in her eternal stillness, was enough. A small, almost invisible piece of the poisoned apple, which had lodged in her throat, slipped from her lips and fell onto the pine needles. Snow White stirred gently. Her eyes fluttered open slowly, absorbing the green of the trees and the light of the sun for the first time in years. The dwarfs gasped, whispering softly in astonished relief. The prince, his face radiant with warmth, smiled deeply. Snow White blinked, her heart filling once more with a quiet wonder, the long enchanted sleep melting away like morning mist. Snow White returned to the world, her spirit refreshed, still gentle, and filled with a luminous kindness. She walked through life softly, the prince by her side, appreciating every quiet, gentle moment with a profound, newfound gratitude. The dwarfs continued their peaceful, honest lives in the forest, their home a bastion of quiet routine. They often visited Snow White, sharing meals, laughter, and calm companionship. Her days flowed on like a soft, peaceful dream, safe, deeply fulfilling, and full of honest love. And as her story spread